Hello my witchy friends, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Sophie, I'm the Midwest Magician, and today I wanted to talk about mirrors. Now, before we get started with the video, I do want to give a disclaimer. I will be showing how I lock mirrors in this video, and I also am doing work with Saint Michael for that little ritual. So if you are not someone that wants to work with saints, fear not, you can omit that step entirely, but I personally adore working with Saint Michael, and as you'll see in the video, it looked like he was very excited to get this working going as well. But with all that being said, let's jump into it. A lot of people, myself included, believe mirrors to be portals to other realms. I'm not going to get into realms too deeply in this video, but the best way that I can describe it to you is like an onion. The realms are layers of the onion. We are a part of that, and the onion in and of itself would be like our universe. So you can peel it back and see all of the different realms. Now, mirrors are a way to see into the other realms. So using the onion as an example, I believe that our reality on Earth would be the centermost layer of that onion. So looking through a mirror, we might not be able to see out into the other realms. However, the outer layers through a mirror can probably see it. So how do we prevent these other realms from being able to see us in our realm? We need to lock our mirrors, just like we would with our windows and our doors. We close our shades when we go to bed, and we make sure nobody can see into our homes. It's going to be the same way with other realms. Now, I don't personally lock all of the mirrors in my house. This mirror is one of the ones that I do not lock. This is the mirror that I do the vast majority of my spell work on. And the way that I like to use it, I do all of the workings right on the surface here, and it is because I believe as above, so below. So I personally like to put my working on here so it can be reflected up into the universe. I'm below, sending it above to come back into fruition in my reality. So I do not lock this one because this is a portal that I do actively use for my spell work. The other mirrors in my house that I don't typically lock are the ones in rooms where people usually are not going. So I have a little tiny one just like this in my guest bedroom. I typically don't lock it. If someone's gonna come over, sure, I can lock that mirror so they get a good night's sleep. But usually I think it's totally fine. There's not anybody going in there on a frequent basis to be either spied on or messed with from other realms through the mirror portal. I also frequently unlock the mirror in my bathroom to do my glamour magic. And why I like to do that is because as above, so below, I like to do my glamour magic, send it through all of the other realms out into the universe for that to come back to fruition for me. So I can clean off the lock, do my magic, and then relock my mirror, and we'll be good to go. So how often do I redo my mirror locks? Every time I clean the mirrors. I will spray them down with Windex. Let's be for real, who can afford Windex? I get the cheap version. I spray it down with my fake Windex, I clean it off, and at that point I feel like anything that I've put on the mirror is energetically wiped. So I feel like at that point it's appropriate to redo the locks. Now, mirrors aren't inherently scary, and other realms don't necessarily mean a bad place. Let's take Earth, for example. If we were in another realm looking at Earth, you see there's a ton of bad stuff going on, but there's also a ton of beauty and good things going on as well. I think we need to have nuance when we're thinking of that kind of thing. A lot of people go through their entire lives without ever having locked a mirror. When you are starting to do meditation, when you're starting to work with the law of attraction, when you're opening up yourself to these other realms and to spirit work, it is so necessary to lock your mirrors. Starting to do all of this work kind of shines a big old spotlight right on you from these other realms. So you'll notice if your mirrors are not locked, you might be getting some unwanted attention and not necessarily knowing where it's coming from. But I do have a couple of signs from my personal experience that it is time to lock your mirrors. So the first and probably most alarming sign would be seeing things in the mirror that are not in your physical presence. Now, I will also say, if you are seeing things that are not there, you should talk to a doctor and make sure that that is not a medical issue. If it is not a medical issue, it might be a spiritual issue, and you might need to lock your mirrors and probably do a cleansing of the house. Okay, one other thing about seeing things that are physically not there. I would also make sure that your carbon monoxide detectors are working, because hallucinations can be a symptom of carbon monoxide poisoning. So please make sure that you are safe inside of your home. Moving on though, another sign, and this is what I have the most experience with, is when animals start acting weird around your mirrors. I have a cat, Harley Poe, and he loves to wake us up in the middle of the night, scratching on the mirror that's across from our bed. So that needs to be relocked, and whenever he does that, I know it's time for that to be relocked. However, I can't always just go and do a full ritual in the bedroom at a moment's notice. So a workaround for that we've been doing, and I do need to go in there and relock this mirror and cleanse it and everything. But what we've been doing to tide things over is putting a pillowcase over the mirror so that nothing can see in, and then we also put a decorative throw pillow in front of the mirror too. I personally hate doing this because I like the aesthetics of our bedroom, and I think the mirror is pretty. The cat drives us absolutely bonkers. It's not even, I don't even get scared of like whatever could be looking at me, although there could be spooky stuff. You never know. You never know. Like I said, we need to have some nuance with other realms. They're not all good. They're not all bad. There's a balance. There's a mix. So anyways, I'm not even scared. It's just annoying to be woken up in the middle of the night by this. So if the animals are acting weird, it's probably time to lock your mirrors. And the last sign that I personally have experience with is just if you feel off, if you feel funny, if it feels kind of yucky, I guess. You'll know if you're by a mirror that just makes you feel uneasy. When I was a kid, I wish I still had it because it was a beautiful mirror, but I had this antique mirror that was my step-grandfather's, and it was a big stand-up oval mirror. It was made of wood that looked just like this, and it was in the corner of my bedroom next to a wicker chair. And that mirror used to scare the ever-living shit out of me as a 10-year-old. I would go and loosen up the sides and flip it around so it would be facing the wall and the back of it would be facing me, just so I could get a peaceful sleep. So if you feel uneasy around mirrors, you're not alone. You can cover it up, you can flip it over, but you should also lock it. I wish I knew that trick. I wish I knew about mirror locking when I was a kid. Okay, all that being said, I should probably show you guys how I lock my mirrors. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that footage right now. If you made it this far in the video, can you let me know? Will you put a little mirror emoji down in the comments? I really appreciate you being here. I hope this video was informative and fun for you to watch, and I hope that it made mirrors a little bit less scary. We can definitely use them for magical purposes. There are so many great things you can do with a mirror, but it is so important to lock them to keep unwanted spiritual activity out of your home. So I hope you enjoyed. Please enjoy my ritual. I will add some voiceover into it as well as needed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. So the first step, like I mentioned a little bit ago, is cleaning the mirror. Not only does it just need to be cleaned in general, but this strips any energetic locks that are old and could be worn out. As you can see, it's taking me absolutely forever to clean this mirror. The off-brand stuff says streak-free, and I say that is a load of junk. Next thing I do is just smoke cleanse the mirrors. You don't have to use smoke. You can use sound or any other method that you would like. I personally just really enjoy Palo Santo for its cleansing purposes. Do you see how this flame is moving directly towards the candle? Like it doesn't even want to go on the incense, it just wants to light St. Michael. So the first thing that I'm going to use is some white sage, just a few little scraps that I have laying around, alongside some loose patchouli. I will be adding an obsidian, a black obsidian, because it does cut ties to spiritual realms. And then I will be topping it all off with some Florida water. And this is going to be what I use to draw my sigils on the mirror. But I do want it to sit and charge with St. Michael for a minute there. Here is the sigil that I will be using. I made it myself. Feel free to use it, adapt it, whatever you want to do. It's totally up to you. And as you can see from here, I am just drawing the sigil directly onto the mirror. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the second mirror as well. And then I completely forgot to film the last part of the ritual, but once the sigils are dried onto the mirror, I use a little cloth and buff them into the mirror. So basically, I got the idea for this from a show that I watched in the early 2000s on Nickelodeon called Chalk Zone. And basically, anything that was drawn on a chalkboard was erased into the chalk zone, and it's its own little realm. The main character has a piece of magic chalk where he can draw a circle and go into the chalk zone to hang out with his chalk friends. So basically, I feel like buffing it out is sending it into the other realms as like a back off. This is not somewhere you can come. That's at least my mentality of that. I hope you liked my little story. But that is my little ritual for locking my mirrors. There are a ton of ways to do this, but feel free to use mine, adapt it, do whatever you gotta do. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.